see. All right, and we're live to YouTube. Hi, everybody. This is Susan Lowell Desalorsino to you from Washington, D.C., welcoming you to a very special Biotensegrity party celebrating 50 years of Biotensegrity. I'm here with my co-host, Graham Scarr. Go ahead, Graham.
Hello, I'm from sunny Nottingham in the UK, and I'm really keen to be here this evening.
All right. And my co-host, Chris Marita Clancy, coming to you from
Sasura, where I'm here with some new Biotensegrity friends. Anna? Yes. And Manuel, Bruna, and over there we have, and Angela. So,
I see.
Thrilled to be here.
Oh, that's great. So we've got a party happening, a celebration happening in Sesimbra, Portugal, and we've got Nuno's camera and Chris's camera showing us people from the party. That's great. And of course, we're here to say happy birthday to Biotensegrity, 50 years for Steve Levin. Steve, hello.
Hi. Glad to be here.
I'm just going to spotlight you for a minute, Steve. Okay. I know you don't like to be in the limelight for the whole time and all that stuff, but thank you for 50 years of dedication, because I remember when I found out about Biotensegrity and I just thought, well, wait a minute. Why isn't everybody learning this? Why doesn't everybody know this? Why isn't everybody immediately changing everything that now has got to be able to change in medicine, in physiotherapy, in this, and this, and this? And I remember saying this to my husband, and he just giggled at my my ignorance / innocence, whatever you want to call it. You've kept it up for 50 years. How have you done it?
I'm mostly just ignoring everybody else. I just did my own thing.
And you met resistance in the early days.
Well, I still do, but you just sort of roll, I think I just have a very thick skin. These things don't bother me. I just decided that's what I wanted to do and did it. Fortunately, my income didn't depend entirely on that, and so that I could sort of split the two. And this was sort of a hobby of mine, and it just blossomed into something much bigger than that.
Well, we're all grateful. I'll take you off the spotlight because it is supposed to be more like a party for everyone.
Please.
And I guess if you want to talk, because we do have so many people, you might want to pop your hand up. And then it comes up in order in the list. Mary Bond is coming in, and I may have a question for her. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody coming in, welcome. Anybody who wants to talk, if nobody's talking, just unmute and start talking, I guess. And then if too many people are talking, we'll go to the formality of raised hands. But I don't think we need to. Hey, Mary Bond, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It's great to see you. I'm
great
very
to see you too.
Mary, you're coming from the structural integration community, is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
And I just did a presentation. We've been doing a big all day out of Portugal.
I'm so jealous.
Well, I was doing it. I participated from here in Washington, D.C. But I'm wondering when you first heard about tensegrity, because part of my presentation on the early history started with the Ron Kirkby paper in
Uh-huh.
1975.
Mhm. No, I think that's about right. I had a sort of up and down relationship in the beginning. I mean, I was a kid when I met her. And I remember her starting to ask us or talk to us about tensegrity, about Bucky Fuller, she said, and that we should look into it. And then I sort of dropped out, and I only heard about Ron Kirkby's paper much later. But it's really quite amazing how present day it is.
Oh yeah.
It's
And,
amazing.
and the recording on the of the discussion, it's in two parts in the Ida Speaks or Ida Teaches,
Mhm.
Dr. Ida Rolf site. It's quite a sophisticated discussion.
Yeah, she says she talked a lot about span, SPAN, or Spannung, in German, and she felt that the body needed that capacity of the fascia. She didn't talk about it publicly that much. I think personally, I think she just was sort of enamored of her own line. You
What is
know,
what is span?
span just means distance and a stretch. There's a stretch to it. It's like the extent of something.
Uh-huh.
And that I think she was talking about the pre-stress characteristic of fascia. I mean, that language wasn't there then. But at one point she says, when you get span in a body, you get tone. And when you get tone, you get span. Span is a spatial thing, and tone is physiological. And for me, it's just right there. That's tensegrity. That's Ron Kirkby's piece of work. And
Wow.
so she was talking about it. That's in a little book called Iderolf Talks. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I'm trying to go forward with that little understood piece of her history. We'll see what comes of it.
Okay, that's great.
Mhm. Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. Michelle, hello.
Hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm
Michelle,
so happy to join you. I'm not at my home. I'm in Balear Islands, so I hope the connection will be good. I'm in Spain now. You can hear me?
yes,
Yeah.
wonderful. Michelle,
So,
when did you meet Steve? When did you find out about biotensegrity?
uh, I met him in school in a Medstone osteopathic school in 2011, and it was a very great moment because he was teaching, in fact, at British osteopathic school first with Daniel Claude Martin, and English people knew he was in this area, and he was invited the next week at the Medstone School, where Graham has been taught in osteopathy also. And Maidstone is in Kent area in England. And for me, it was a great opportunity to meet him because my friend Ildiko Neplas, you know her,
Oh, yes,
you,
she's
you,
wonderful.
you met her. She's a very important friend and osteopath in France. And she told me perhaps 5 years before, Michel, you have to go there in that direction. You have to search in biotensegrity direction, because she knew I was dancer and osteopath, and looking for something more in the body, which is the volume sensation. And when I met Steve during 2 days, it was so intense for me to feel immediately the synergetic forces, tension and compression in my body. Everything he was speaking about, I embodied these things, and it was so strong to feel something I was perceiving for a long time, and nobody spoke about that. So I was so happy. I asked him the permission to give a lecture to the next big, and he told me, yes, of course, but you have to send your presentation to Danielle. And she told me, we want you come in Munich for the next. We will be very happy to meet you. So the arms were open, and Biotensegrity was offering me a new way of feeling, and for the rest of my life, for sure.
That's great.
Yes, really.
So at the first big, besides Steve, Graham and Craig Nevin, I don't think anybody else here was at the first big at Daniel Claude's. Graham, do you have any memories of that, thoughts?
Yes, the first big. Steve
2000
actually
2009?
2009, yes, 2009. And I didn't know anything about it, and Steve mentioned it was going on, and perhaps I should go. I mentioned it to Danielle, who contacted me. And when I got there, I think Danielle thought it also was going to just be a half dozen people sitting around the kitchen table having a chat. And so many people discovered what was going on that there were, I guess, 30 or more people there, including Jean-Claude Gambeteau, as you say, Steve Nevin, Craig Nevin.
Thank you. I think Tom's here, and I think he's here on a lunch break, and he's only here for a second. So Tom, I'm gonna
Thank you, but not
spotlight you.
much.
That's all right.
I don't mean to interrupt Graham. I'm here for a few seconds and would be glad to chime in, but I wanted to hear what Graham was saying. And excuse me for being late, but I just am getting out of a class.
No, that's fine. Okay, Graham, continue then, and then
No,
Tom will come after you.
No, you weren't really interrupting me, Tom. I'll try and think of a name. I can see his face. The man who makes lots of tensegrity models, begins with G.
Gerald de Jong.
Gerald de Jong, he was there too, yes. And other people who I can't remember the names, many of whom we never saw again. Although they may be interested in the subject. But that was the first one. It got things started. So Danielle was the real driver behind that. And then the following year, we went to Rome, and then Munich, and then Belgium. And all in all, we had 10 of those, one each year, until the Washington big in 2015. And that's how those big meeties started. So, Tom, well, here you can say something perhaps.
Coming in late, I don't know what the question that's being asked or what's being spoken to, so catch me up.
It's all very general. There's no set pattern to what's happening this evening. It's
Look at you, Stephen, with all the models behind you. That is so great.
Tom, I just thought I know you're only here on a lunch break, so I just thought
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and I will chime in here. I see right behind your right ear, Stephen, is Tom Flemons, who used to make the models before his passing. And that I'm sure he sent me a similar thing, and that was his idea of a knuckle. The bent pipe behind Stephen's right ear is
Ah,
wrapped. It's just two pieces of pipes with a joint, so that would approximate your fingers here. And what Tom was doing was trying to create a tensegrity that would explain or would explain the action of these joints, which is so easy to explain with leverage, but to explain it in a tensegrity way. So you're taking me down the history just looking at the models behind you, Stephen. I think I was, if I'm going to chime in here, the that Peter Melchior is the link between me and Stephen that I had studied with Buckminster Fuller on the World Game. I'm in Quebec City now, but next weekend I'll be in Montreal where the geodesic dome from the 67 fair is there. And so I was interested in Bucky's work from the point of view of spaceship Earth, not from the point of view of tensegrity. I had no mathematics or anything. And so I studied with Bucky and learned about tensegrity and had unfortunately not the inspiration to apply it to the body. It was Stephen Levin who had the inspiration to apply it to the body. And I think I got it in around 75 or 76 from Peter Melchior. Stephen, what was your contact with either Ida Rolf or Peter? How did that come about?
Yeah, well, I had a fellow named Wenger.
Ah, Frank Wenger. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Frank Wenger was the physiotherapy, running the physiotherapy department.
Well, he
And
was a physiatrist, which we don't
yes,
even have anymore here.
he was a physiatrist, ran the physiatry and physiotherapy department at Alexandria Hospital where I worked. And I
Hmm.
gave a talk to the physiotherapist, and he came and he says, "Well, this is Ida Rolf stuff." And so we got together and he introduced me to the Rolfing group.
Hmm.
So it
Well,
was,
it was through that introduction that came through secondhand to me, and then anything that I've written about tensegrity after that came out of that original inspiration that came from you. And as we've said in a recent correspondence, we've never really come to grips with um, any theoretical disagreements that we've had, but I always regard these theoretical disagreements as the difference between Sevilles and Valencias when the world is starving for oranges. So I think any the kinds of arguments that we have, internecine arguments that we have between yoga and Alexander technique and CrossFit and all of those things are resolved in the tensegrity idea and need to be resolved in practical terms for us applying these things to people. But it's a slow it's a slow process as we've seen.
but Tom, we were asking, Mary Baum was telling us earlier a little bit about her perspective. In 1975, when Steve had this aha moment at the Needle Tower, Ron Kirkby that same year wrote his paper, and the Rolf community was already having very sophisticated discussions. At least that California group, those recordings that are on the Ida Teaches page on the Ida Rolf
Hmm.
website, and then Ron Kirkby's paper is on the Prado or whatever it is, the site that has all the different papers. They're
Pedro
all,
Prado's site, yes.
yeah.
I don't know what it's called either.
So we don't know how the Rolf community first connected to the concept of tensegrity.
Well, through Ron Kirkby was the first thing that was published, absolutely. But if you read that article, I'm going to argue with the word sophisticated. I don't think, and I wasn't part of that conversation, so maybe it was sophisticated, but the conversations that I had with Ida Rolf in 78 when I studied with her last, um, her understanding of tensegrity and biotensegrity was really quite minimal. And I would say that all of our understanding of tensegrity was really quite minimal. That what you can see in my first video where I did a thing with a sailboat and in the original bit of the book was trying to wrestle what seemed like very, very general and vague concepts of tensegrity that I was getting from the Rolf and trying the Rolf world and trying to wrestle it into something that was more actionable in the way that Stephen was talking.
Interesting.
I just think I'm not trying to fault Ida Rolf or anybody around her. It's just that it would just we weren't thinking in very sophisticated ways back then. That's the only.
Yeah, but it is very sophisticated. I mean, second law of thermodynamics, how collagen would be an attractive or an compelling candidate for the cables, the tensional cables. There are just a number of different things in those conversations around that paper and those recordings. I mean, I guess I've listened to those recordings so many times over now. Because they're just really interesting. I think there still might be some things in there that we haven't even begun to explore. But anyway, I mean, Ron Kirkby says in that his dedication that Michael Salveson put him onto it and kept saying it's like a tensegrity, it's like a tensegrity.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where Michael got that from. I don't know whether Ida Rolf and Fuller met at Esalen. Steve has a recollection that they did meet when they were in Philadelphia together.
I heard that there was a meeting and not much of a meeting of the minds. I heard that Jim Asher, who was one of her first disciples and a teacher for the Institute, encountered Bucky, and by sheer persistence, because Bucky will stay on after a lecture for hours talking to anybody who will talk to him. But anyway, got Bucky back up to his hotel room and with yet more determination got him down to his underwear, which for if you imagine an old New England patrician like Buckminster Fuller was a difficult task and gave him a session. Now, Bucky had one short leg. I have no idea whether it was a torsion or whatever, or whether he had a true short leg. But Jim went to work on him, and the report is that he was in the lobby of the hotel the next morning, jumping up and down on his legs, saying, "See, it works! See, it works!" So there was some kind of overlap between Rolf and Fuller, but I never got from Rolf that she understood the significance of Fuller. And I think of Rolf's mottos. I spent a lifetime with Ida Rolf's work, but I think her models were very much leverage, Newtonian models.
Yeah. Steve, did you mean to be screen sharing? You're muted, Steve.
Believe it or not, I found a little video I made of the first big meeting.
Oh, good.
I see it. Did you click that you're going to share the sound?
Well, I was going to try it if I can figure out how to do it.
What you have to do is first you do screen share, right? And
Well,
then before you click on the movie, you have to click a little box that says share sound.
show meeting, it says. I don't see. I got to share here.
Yeah, stop the share and we're going to start all over again.
Stop this share. I don't know how to stop sharing.
Yeah.
All
Now,
right.
you're going to click just once to start the share.
Yeah.
Before you actually do share,
Yeah. It says more.
you have to do it. You have to just click once and not twice because there's a little box that will come up, which
Well,
now you've gone past.
oh God.
You see, it's something in Zoom. So you have to click just once on share screen and wait and look. Usually on my screen, it's a little on the right, and there'll be a little box.
Oh, I got it. Let's see it.
Share
First time I've
sound.
ever been able to see the damn thing. There
Yeah.
it goes. All right. I'll see what I can do for you.
Okay, great.
All right.
Yeah.
Elle a roulé sa bosse, elle a roulé carrosse. Elle a plumé plus d'un pigeon, la Marie Vison. Du côté de la chapelle, c'est comme ça qu'on l'appelle. Même en été, elle a sur le dos son sacré manteau. Il est bouffé au mythe. Et quand elle a la cuite, elle ne peut pas s'empêcher de raconter que la vie était belle, qu'elle portait des dentelles, et tous les hommes, oui, tous les hommes étaient fous d'elle. Elle a roulé sa bosse, elle a roulé carrosse, elle a plumé plus d'un pigeon, la Marie Vison. Mais un soir ce fut plus fort qu'elle, la v'là qui s'est mise à pleurer. Et son secret trop lourd pour elle, dans un bistrot me l'a confié. Elle n'a jamais cherché un petit cœur à aimer. Elle n'a choisi que des ballots au cœur d'artichaut, à jouer de la prunelle de Passy à Grenelle. On perd son temps et ses 20 ans, v'là qu'il fiche le camp pour ce sacré manteau qu'elle voulait sur du côté de la chapelle. C'est comme ça. Dans mon usine de puteaux, on peut dire que il lichait tous les tafias, mais n'oubliez pas, rien ne vaut une belle fille qui partage notre ragoût. Sans amour, on n'est rien du tout. On n'est rien du tout. Dans mon usine de puteaux, on peut dire que j'ai le fin boulot. Ça fait bien 365 jours de long que je vise toujours le même sacré petit boulon. Mais cela ne m'empêche pas de chanter. Dès que j'ai ma petite heure de liberté, je vais tout droit à Luna Park dans le jour prudel.
Okay, that was fun, Steve. We're getting funny sounds from somebody. Okay. Steve, you're muted. That was great, though.
I can't believe it. I did that years and years ago. I said, I knew I had that someplace. And I just dug it up.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, and it had all the people there, and I particularly liked the music I added to it.
And Craig's here. Craig, I saw you in those pictures. I saw Tom Flemons, Daniel Claude, Gerald.
Yeah, I just want to say for body workers that those films of Danielle Claude Martin is something that I still use for people to understand. I'm teaching the spine right now. I have bunches of tensegrity models downstairs and in the classroom. And that video she did of a hypermobile segment and the hypomobile segments on either side is just so demonstrative. Thank you very much, Danielle, if you're within earshot.
You know, wait, are you talking about the ones where she's bending the neck, tensegrity and all of that? Oh, so
Yep.
you've got copies of those because they sort of got lost along the way. We need to repost them for people.
Okay, well, whatever I've got, and I'll be happy to forward it to you.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
I'll do it in return for whatever you're holding on to that I don't have. It's
Am
just
I
great
holding
to
on
be able
to
to do.
something?
I don't know. You know, I didn't realize I was holding on to something that you all didn't have. Those things have been around for a long time.
That's why it's good for us to talk. Yeah, because you
Yep.
never know what gets dropped, right?
Yep, that's true.
But yeah, those were coming from biotensegrity.com. They were linking to something I think that Danielle Claude had put up. And then she's just not been online for many years now. And people do ask for them. Hey, Marco, did you want to come on?
Oh, yes, thank you. So first, just quickly, I want to thank you for sharing this video with us. It was fantastic, and I have to say that even though I wasn't there, I felt so nostalgic at watching this video. So almost if I was there really at that time. But I was wondering if some of you can share, Stephen or maybe Tom or somebody else, if somebody can share some elements of what was the mood, the climate, the spirit of being there. What were you sharing? You know, some elements just to allow us to sneak in a little bit for a moment in that event, right? In those times, right? Thank you.
I think that's a question that Graham could better answer than I.
Well, it was quite exciting because no one really knew what was going to happen.
Including me. I had no idea what was going on.
I mean, I had no idea who was going to be there either. So that was interesting to meet the big variety of people. And having watched that video, a lot of those names come back to me that were there. I'd forgotten about. And there were a lot more people there than the photo shows. Some people came for half a day or a day and then disappeared. So they weren't all there when the photos were took at the end. But it was very exciting. And it was the start of regular meetings, at least once a year from that onwards. So some of those people are here today.
And I just linked up just recently with Daniel De La Posta, who's in that video from Italy, and we're reconnecting, which is really interesting. So it comes around.
And how did you happen to reconnect?
He actually read one of the articles that we've been recently posted, and so I saw that he read it and contacted him, and then we've been bouncing back and forth a bit.
Oh, that's great. Chris, I'm going to bring you up. Or you and Bruna. So some of you may not know, but there was a big that happened all day today because it's evening now in Portugal. So here are our Portugal friends. There's a whole party, a whole extension of this party is happening there today now after they've had a whole series of presentations and a whole big today.
So what I wanted to say is that watching that video, Steve, which was fantastic, at that point in time, you didn't know that Graham was going to write that book. You didn't know Danielle Clode. She probably hadn't started on her book yet. And it makes me wonder, what are we going to see in the next 15 years? Because we don't know.
Chris, tell everyone who's with you.
Do my best. So we're here in Sesimbra, and we have Paula over there. You can't see her. Maybe she'll wave at her computer. And of course, Bruna and Nuno and we've hosted Big Portugal, the first one. Next to me is Anna and Manuel. And next to Nuno over there, we have Angela and we have Cecilia. And it is so wonderful to be together in person. I can't tell you how much it means. And Susan.
Okay, wait a sec. I'm trying to get the whole party up at the same time and I'm losing it.
And I'm giving you some background music for it too.
Okay, good.
Oh, they're hearing the music here. Okay, Susan, I'm suggesting you go back and you watch the YouTube live and the conversation starters we had, because it was so meaningful and they were directed at you as well, and Graham as well. Graham was there. I think the tea party, when we started that, we didn't know also what that would mean.
Wow.
To be here.
That's great. My spotlight's not working, but thank you everybody who's coming in from Sesimbra, Portugal. It sounds like a beautiful place. George, I'm going to bring you up. If I can, somehow my spotlight's bumping. Go ahead, George.
Oh, hi. So, Steve, I have a question for you. Do you
I mean,
do you re do you recall when we first met?
we met at a meeting in Toronto of, I forget what the organization was.
Physical Medicine Research Foundation.
There it was, and we just bumped into each other there. I think I gave a talk there,
Yeah.
and and you hooked into it.
Yeah, well, there was two parts to that. I was presenting as well some early stages of the work that I was developing based on tensegrity, but I had no idea it was tensegrity until you pointed it out. So it was 33 years ago,
Wow.
1992. Yeah. And it was a Physical Medicine Research Foundation. I don't think exists anymore, but it was at York University in Toronto. And so I was presenting something. One of my students, a physiotherapist, I'm trying to remember her name, I can't remember it now, but she said, "Oh, you got to go listen to Dr. Levin." And so I did my little thing, or I was getting ready, I think. She said, and this was before my talk. And I sat in on your talk, and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. My head exploded. Lights turned on, and I said, I had no idea why I was observing. Like I had basically been looking at bone structure, not understanding why these changes were happening in bone. We later learn, of course, that bone is just mineralized fascia, which you've talked about as well, and seeing these dramatic changes in the shape of bone. And I know Tom was talking about short leg, but most short legs are actually long legs on the other side because bone expands. And Steve, you clarified for me that when the tensegrity is injured, when the actual molecular frame was injured, it expands. And I was like, I had all kinds of other ideas. But anyways, it was like, in any event, that was a big light bulb moment for me. And then you sat in on my presentation and said, by the way, I can explain all of these things based on what I've been talking about. And I said, thank you. I think we spent hours together after that. And I can't remember, I think we actually, continued the discussion after the meeting. And then we wound up in Cozumel. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, yes.
But I did a presentation in Cozumel. I have pictures of you and I by the seashore in wetsuits.
And we did a little scuba diving.
Scuba diving, that's right. And I was just, starting to scuba dive. I guess you must have been certified at that point, but I don't remember. But in any event, that was fun. We had a nice group from all over North America, and you presented and I presented. And anyway, so there you go. That was our adventure start. And I quote you all the time, of course, and you've come up to Toronto a few times and spoken to our groups, and it's been a delight. And to me, it's changed my whole world in terms of being able to provide the things that we do, because everything can be explained with tensegrity. So I had no way to explain it before. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate that.
And George,
But
you've
yeah.
got people all over the world now.
Oh yeah, we have people all over North America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. We just had a student from Singapore. But yeah, there's a new free course. I'll put it up for you guys that you guys can just log into. It's a nice video series that basically shows you sort of how we apply tensegrity to treating injuries. And all of you guys are invited. And there's going to be if you're interested in learning more, there's a very inexpensive introductory seminar, a couple of them coming up, and I'll give you a discount code if you're interested. But anyways, I'd love to see some of you. I know. Kimmy came to one of our early sessions, and Chris, you've had Matrix and stuff. And I know I treated you, Steve. I remember you had issues. I think I treated your knees in the early days.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you. I think you started dancing a little bit better after that, if I recall.
I think you worked on my snoring once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that
That's
worked for
something.
a long time.
Yeah, that's something we do a lot of. Yeah. I tell people a story. I had to create that technique because my partner at the time was snoring so badly. I kept waking her up. I said, let me try this. Let me try. So now we treat snoring and sleep apnea all the time very successfully. So we figured out a lot more since then, but it's great. All right, well, that's all for me.
Hey, George, are those classes of yours only open to physiotherapists still?
No, well, no, now it's opened up to, we're opening up to a few more groups. So listen, if you submit your interest, and we've got a new kind of matrix program for other than, licensed health professionals. So we're developing that right now. So if you're interested, please contact us. We have some exciting stuff that anyone can use and apply to yourself, to your family, things like that. So that's our goal, basically, try to get it to everyone. Yeah. All
That's
right.
great. Thanks, George.
Okay. All right. Nice seeing everyone.
Yeah, I'm glad you could
Thanks,
come,
George.
Thanks.
taking the spotlights off. So now we all see each other. Dorothea, how are things going with the Tom Flemons archive? Can you give us any updates?
Well, I haven't really been doing much of anything with the archive. I mean, there's the pile of images that could sometime get sorted through and remove duplicates and label them and stuff. But I've been working with Mike Olean, who's trying to develop additional models, and it's very exciting to be working with him and seeing what he comes up with next. And I do hope that that he can see his spine models and such to completion.
Thank you. Well, thank
And
you.
then I guess, yeah, it was very nice that Mike was able to attend the Research Congress, and I think that was funding from the Biotensegrity archive. So
Yeah, Mike Olean is our 2025 fellow, which does come with a monetary award, and he put it to good use. And my understanding is that I know a few of you here today were there, but that he brought those models. They had them out in the lobby. I know you were there, Bruna. You were there, Chris. They had them in the lobby when people were doing checking in, and we had some great footage and photographs from that. And I think he brought them to every lunch. Hold on, I'm gonna spotlight Chris. Chris, you guys want to tell us about the Research Congress and how you did with Mike's? Oh, you've got a model of Mike's there.
Yes, you just mentioned it. And of course, we're here to share biotensegrity. And so this is one of Mike's icosahedrons. And they're so easy to put together and take apart.
And those are new, right?
These are brand, yeah, you don't have one yet, Susan. And you can also, once you've built it, take the struts out so you have just the web. But they're really fantastic.
Wow, that's great.
I just thought I would share this. One of the things we found, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
One of the things we found at the Fascia Congress was, of course, Mike had huge tensegrities as well, and octahedrons that you could change their orientation, which of course reminds me of the superstability paper. And people were fascinated. We brought these here, and people, we have some of Ninos downstairs, and people are drawn to them. So I know we often have this conversation about how can we get people interested in biotensegrity. We certainly found that having the models with us made people pay attention. Do you want to say anything about that, Bruna, and the Congress?
Yeah, go on, and I can say.
You go. No, this is good. Here, I'm going to just slide the computer over. Excuse me.
Yep.
Hey, I think we always talked how we can explain biotensegrity and how can we bring people in. And what we felt was every time the model shows up, people get interested and start to ask questions, and then we have the sense that it's very natural and people start to engage before understand. So this was very special to be.
Oh, it was, yes.
Yeah,
And
it was very special.
I think Carol Davis is here now after the physio thing is over now.
Yes.
And Carol, I don't know if you'd be willing to come up and speak, but
Hey,
from what,
before we bring Carol up, look, show us your buttons.
oh, yes.
So they say Biotensegrity at 50. And
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a needle tower there. Yeah.
A lot of people in the Congress was wearing the bottom. Was beautiful.
Yeah, we kind of infiltrated
Nice.
successfully.
In many ways.
I just want to show
oh,
you, these are very easy to put together as well.
So they're very, how do you link them?
Well, it's not quite as sensitive as linking them like Graham does with the triangles, going into the triangles to make hexagons. He just takes the two ends and puts them, like, look,
Put them on top of each other.
put them on top of each other, joins them close together. Mike's not here today, hey? There we go. And look, bolts. He takes, I think, 5 of them. I only have enough for 4, and can put them in a complete donut or torus shape.
And they'll stick together.
And they just stick together. Yeah. They're pretty incredible. I mean, the work that Mike is doing is amazing. You probably did this when you took his workshop, Susan, where you make the octahedron and then you can slowly slide the little clusters of nodes apart and change the shape closer to a hexagon. But what you feel when you do it, if you try and do it too quickly, they just pop back, which to me really demonstrates what Leonid talks about, these different minimal energy states. If I try and push it too far, the system wants to go back.
Yeah, too far, too hard, too fast.
It resists too hard, too far, too fast, which gets us back to the light touch.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, patients are listening rather than forcing.
Everybody wants to buy the Mike's model.
Oh,
but
I'm gonna find Mike's website and email and share it. I'm sure he won't mind.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, put it in the chat. Carol, can you come up?
Okay, can I just interject very briefly that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Mike Olean is of course super inspired by Tom Flemons, and also just extremely jealous of Tom Flemons' situation where he came up with a squish toy that sold millions of copies and gave him the income he needed so that he could just explore and build models to his heart's content. And whenever I have meetings with Mike, I can see this push and pull that Mike is full of ideas of great things he wants to build, but on the other hand, he does have to pay his rent and so on. So I am hopeful that in the next couple of years, things will work out for him and we'll have another Tom Flemons on our hands there.
I just want to say yay in church to that, Dorothea. I think this guy is so deserving, and he is by trade a puppeteer. So you can imagine how much money he has from being a puppeteer.
That's
So
right.
his dedication to this, we are going to have, I don't even know exactly when it is, but we are going to have a webinar on his pelvis model and how to use it with clients and things like that. I think that's sometime in October that we're doing that. I just want to support Mike's work and thank Big for sending him to New Orleans, because anything we can do to promote this and get a sort of another Tom Flemons on our hands, we should definitely do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm saying goodbye now. Thanks a lot. Have a
Thanks,
Good to
Tom.
see you.
Steve, we all love you and thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
we have to get together.
Yep, we will.
And I'll just say, the archive is not wealthy, but we try to be really strategic with your donation money. And one of the things that we can do is find people like Christian Castro Arenas, our first fellow, and Mike Oleon, our second fellow, and give them an award that allows them to have the boost that they need to get more of their work out to more people more easily, more quickly, because our goal. I'm just putting in a plug for the archive here, and if you're feeling like you want to donate, please do, because the goal is education and community building and research support. And we actually haven't really announced it yet, but we have two donors that have given a combination of $4,000. This is anonymous, and or have pledged that amount that they will match donations up to $4,000 from now till the end of the year, which means if you give us $100, we get 200. So if you have been thinking of donating, if you've gotten value in your work, your life, your practice, because of all this work that Steve has done and other people have done in Biotensegrity, consider donating to the archive. Thank you.
And Susan, can we consider, oh, I shouldn't be bringing this up in public. Can we consider maybe emailing some of these to people if we have leftovers, if they donate?
I don't have any. Are you saying this is a project you're going to take on, or?
Sure, if you send me their email addresses, then I could do that. It's a limited offer because we'll only have a certain number left.
Yes.
So it will be first come, first serve. And
okay, and that will be for donations above what dollar amount?
I don't know, you choose that. That's out of my arena.
All right, get in touch with us if you want a button. There are still some left.
And I'll need your mailing address.
Thanks, Dorothea. And everybody here should be on the Biotensegrity Archive email list, and get the newsletter, and that has the donation links in that. Thank you, Mariana, for managing screens and sounds and muting loud things, and we appreciate it. Carol, did you want to come up?
Sure, I'll show you the one that Christian made for me.
Oh, you have to hold it right close to you.
Yeah. Isn't that lovely? It has a little
Wow.
nucleus in the center. Let me undo my background blur. You can
So
see my messy desk.
Christian made this for you.
Yes, right. This is from Christian, and he was able to flatten it enough to mail it to me from where is it? Argentina?
Yeah.
So that came in the mail.
Oh, and then it's got an internal structure.
Yeah, it's got an internal nucleus structure.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I use it all the time. But I with a very fond memory of making my first tensegrity with Chris and Graham at John Sharkey's 2016, I guess, 2016 dissection course. But I met Steve in 2015 when I was graciously invited to attend the big before the Fascia Research Congress and to present how Barnes looked at how the approach that Barnes uses to try. We had 7 minutes that we could present the material, and I was really on Steve constantly to talk about energy and flow, and he was tossing his hands up in the air, and then finally on the last day he said, "Carol, I put together a presentation for you on energy." So we had a wonderful presentation on energy and how this is really a field. This is a model of a field. And Barnes, of course, was teaching this without the same words. It was wonderful to get Steve's orientation and framework that I could put it into. And from then on, that was 2015, and now this is 2025. I don't talk at all ever. I never give a talk without talking about how what I'm saying relates to the science of biotensegrity. And my knowledge of biotensegrity has been formed and expanded through the tea parties and through knowing Steve and reading your work and Graham's work and Susan's work, and then also with the biotensegrity for physiotherapists. We have a little course that we give for physical therapists to try to help them move beyond what the science that we learned in school to then go beyond that and learn biotensegrity principles that are so much more descriptive of life processes. And so we're so proud of that course, www.biotensegrityphysio.com. And there are several of us. Kutu is on here, and Kimi, and Camilla, and Mariana, and Bruna, and Eileen Dickinson, and who am I leaving out? Pedro, and I think that's it. We're all faculty, and we present these. We present biotensegrity in 8 different hour-long 45-minute long presentations, and then talk about how that applies to our patient care and how we changed our lenses from a physical therapy science, biomechanics essentially, to a biotensegrity understanding of how the body works and how we interact with our patients and clients. So my
It's an
life has been
excellent,
enriched.
it's an
My life
excellent
has been
course.
enriched immensely by Steve and by Susan and by Graham and everybody who's helped me understand biotensegrity. So thank you very much, Steve.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's an excellent course. Chris, I'm going to bring you up.
Well, Carol was up. Carol, we were,
Try.
Carol and I and some others at the International Fascial Research Congress in August. And Carol, I've known you for a while now, and I recall when we just met, you would talk about how much you had to hold back when you were sharing your work. And it seemed to me like at the Congress, you could finally share those things that are really important to you. And I would love to hear from you what that was like. It really made me reflect on how people like Steve has been at it for so long, and suddenly it's like the tap opened up. I'd love to hear your experience of that, because it seemed like, I mean, oh my gosh, everybody wanted to see Carol, myself included, and they were ready to hear what you've been biting your tongue on for so many years. So please share.
Well, I think we're probably out of time right now, but basically I don't know how long you were expecting to go, but basically my original research was in empathy. I wrote a dissertation on empathy in 1978, 79, 80. And I was convinced that there was an energetic link, which of course now we understand as resonance, from my experience as being born an identical twin who shared these the knowing, the pre-feeling, the precognition, the ESP that I have with my twin sister. And and then Barnes introduced me to understanding how touch through the soft tissue holistically communicated that resonance and gave the opportunity for the therapist and the patient to be in resonance. And so I link, and then I wrote that dissertation on an experiencing of empathy, phenomenological experiencing of empathy as it occurs within physical therapists for their patients. It was published in 1982. Actually, it's online now. You can get it, but there was a journal article. If you go on academic, whatever it is, and just look me up there, it's what is empathy and can empathy be taught? And basically, the power of empathy for me was this transcendent moment where we come out of ourselves in an understanding of sort and come back into ourselves. which is very different from a cognitive or even an emotional mirroring. It's different. It's a knowing that has to do with an energetic link. Well, science is that kind of mystery is not welcome by objectivism, reductionistic science. And so I'd have to frame it in ways that were use metaphor a lot and talk around it a lot. But then I began to recognize how this really is the essence of a model of two fields coming together and resonating with one another. And I began to incorporate that into my talks on fascia and on biotensegrity, and David Bohm's the explicate, the implicate, and the superimplicate order of explaining how we're all connected. And this resonance really is where we find perhaps a threshold to consciousness, a threshold to finding meaning in our lives. And so the philosophical and the spiritual and the physiological all comes together for me in biotensegrity. I'm able to talk about it now, and people were really hungry. They wanted to hear more about consciousness. They wanted to hear more about the connection, the link between us and our patients that is achieved through the attending in a certain way, paying attention in a certain way with compassion. And there are fMRI studies now that are showing that the insula changes when you're attending in a positive way, in a thoughtful way, versus when you're not attending. The parasympathetic ramps up a little bit when you're attending with compassion through touch. So the science is catching up, and so people are really very hungry for it. But thank you, Chris, for acknowledging that. I've been to every Congress except two, Berlin uh, and Boston. I missed the first one because I had to do accreditation visit with my school in 2007, and I missed Berlin because of COVID. But I've been to every one, and this is the first time that I felt that people were really now able to wanting to hear this information. And I'm glad I lived long enough. Thank you.
Yeah, and you mentioned biotensegrity in your talks, and
I don't talk without mentioning it and quoting Steve and Graham and Susan. I can't. It's just too much a part of the reality of what I experience as healing.
and thank you, Carol, for your commitment for doing that sharing. And what I saw there really showed me that now, Susan, I know you've been doing a tremendous amount of support and giving and mentoring, myself included. Susan is my mentor. And I could see a vision. I could imagine really truly that in the next 3 years, in the next 6 years, that, we never know quite all of the things that contribute, but this explosion, I think we're ready for that tipping point. People like obviously Steve and you and Susan and Graham and when Bob was there, it feels like it's getting ready. And Steve, I know you always, I'm glad that it's at this point and that you're witnessing this.
I gotta last another 6 years at least.
Yes,
Thank you.
you need to
Okay.
make past 100.
Yeah, let me just add to what Carol said. Carol was talking about two waves coming together. Two waves coming together create what is known as a standing wave, which is a structure that's sort of semi-permanent. This is, I mean, this is physics. And so we are really standing waves in the environment. Um, so it's for those of you, I used to do a little kayaking, canoeing, and as you see these standing waves in running rivers where you see a thing that looks like a solid wave, and you can actually ride up on it on a canoe or kayak and just sort of stand there, and the water just goes around you at, 15, 20 miles around an hour around, standing in one spot. You become a standing wave, and it has to do with these two waves coming together, which in our body is tension and compression, work getting a standing wave. Another pearl.
Yeah, I suggest when Steve first said this in a meeting we had with Joe Clinton a few weeks ago, and it just made so much sense. So I've gone online and I've gone onto YouTube and looked at standing waves and, seen what they physically are. It's just, the river's flowing and it almost looks like the river's flowing over a rock, but there's no rock. It's just that the pattern of energy flow is coming one into another in such a way that this essentially bump in the river gets created and it looks solid, and it's solid enough that Steve says you can ride up on it, but everything's constantly changing within it. So there's your super stability for those of you who have seen our recent paper that Graham really took the lead on, but that is the result of a conversation that a subject that Leonid Bloom brought to us in January of 2020. And we, had hours of discussion and meetings over whatever number of weeks you were in town, Graham, you and Leonid, and it's taken all this time, but now the paper's out. And interestingly, it's in a special issue of Biosystems that is focusing on constructal law. So the constructal law people are very excited about biotensegrity, which is really cool because it's been great to connect with the ecological psychology people and how they are seeing biotensegrity as a great value. And we've, of course, we've got, the robotics people, and we've got some people in processual biology that we've connected with, and now construct a law. So it's really interesting. All right, Bob, why don't you come up?
Well, thanks so much. Just to continue on the conversation, Steve, as a fellow kayaker myself, I've spent a bunch of time on top of waves as well. So it's really, interesting out there when you can see different things coming to you and being on top. But I want to share that I'm wearing my Biotensegrity at 50 button as well, which I had. But and just following up with some things that Chris said, to me, it feels like it's on the verge too. I mean, I lead a manual therapy study group. We had a meeting last night, and actually your superstability paper came up. Somebody wanted to discuss it, and everyone seemed to be, have some interest in it. So now I'm going to be sharing that with, my mailing list for our group, which is about, 50 or 60. I'm sure it'll be a topic of a future conversation. So it's, I think it is. I think, at the Congress, whenever biotensegrity, came up, I presented it, in my talk, I mentioned it, but I heard, many, many times. And most of the time it was just with excitement and interest. And especially when I saw Mike's models and hearing it, from Carol and from Chris and Bruna and from myself, it came up in multiple ways. So I think it's on the verge too, because I know the people that I discuss things with and our group and our students, they're very much interested as well. So I think good things are coming. So for that, thank you so much, Steve, because I think it is leading a change, and I think it's growing.
Well, thank you. And I do have a video that I made about 5 years ago on superstability that's on my personal YouTube website. So take a look at that. I haven't looked at it for years, but it covers the topic.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah, and Tea Party 1.6 is where we all presented on it. And Bob has his own big that he's started in his area with his physiotherapy people. So they've got their own biotensegrity interest group. Always great to see somebody putting that together. And you guys meet monthly, Bob?
Not quite monthly, depending on when I can squeeze it in, but I think it's going to be something ongoing. And then I know we are teaching a class for how to apply biotensegrity concepts into manual therapy in December with our group. So I know that there's a interest in that, and I'm sure that our conversation with our big is going to extend beyond that, into the future. So yeah, we're really excited. It's becoming a regular topic of in all of our classes and discussions. So I think that's just going to continue.
Thanks, Bob.
Sure. Thanks. Thank you to everyone.
Go ahead, Carol.
For some reason, my computer won't let me type in the reference for the study, the functional MRR study on the insula and interoceptive awareness. It's a Ceritelli study, Cerrittelli, on functional connectivity. If you just type that into Google Scholar, it'll come up for you. Ceritelli and functional connectivity.
Thank you, Carol. Go ahead, Chris.
Susan, I just thought that since we were on the topic of big and Bob's big, would you maybe let people know what the big is and, our appreciation? People can start them up at any point. And then after that, maybe Nuno has something to bring to the conversation.
Okay. Well, I mean, big, as I understand it, Daniel, Claude, and Steve started the first one. And I wrote to Daniel, Claude, and I said, I want to get a biotensegrity interest group together because I want to learn in community. I wasn't about to be able to get to Europe every year, and I wanted something more frequent. So I co-founded DC Big, Washington, DC area Big, 2000, maybe it was also 2009. And we would just meet sporadically, maybe 4-5 times a year. Sometimes Steve came, sometimes he didn't. And Stephen Schafferman may still be here. He's one of the people who was, Steve's here, part of DC Big, and we'd meet and we'd explore whatever we wanted to explore in terms of issues of relating to biotensegrity so that we could all get kind of improved understanding together. And I'll just say so I was trying to understand soft matter kinds of things. And I took this balloon. I've never redone this experiment. I took a balloon and I started putting cornstarch inside of it and lentils inside of it. And it didn't expand, but I kept putting more and more in. And I didn't understand how the balloon was taking all of that. And I didn't understand how the cornstarch must have been condensing and the pressure building. Anyway, I very proudly brought it with me because I thought it was an interesting tactile thing to kind of play with, and had unexpected behaviors and that sort of thing. And it reminded me of something we used to do in school when I was a kid. We'd put sugar inside of a balloon and then tie it off. And it was kind of like a fidget toy. Anyway, this balloon had cornstarch and lentils in it. And when we all got to sit around in a circle and I began to take it to pass it around, it exploded. And cornstarch and lentils went all over the dance studio we were in. And it was a lot of fun. Anyway, and then I later spoke to my daughter and she said, "You didn't double up the balloon?" And I thought, well, some people know how to make scientific models and some people don't. But anyway, a biotensegrity interest group is cost sharing. So if you need to rent a room to meet, you share the cost. Nobody makes money. Everybody shares their energy, experience, wisdom. And it's just for the purpose of coming together to learn more about biotensegrity in community, which is the best way because none of us can see our own blind spots. But when we work together in community, we share, we ask each other challenging questions, and it's more fun and you grow faster.
And if anybody out there is wanting to start their own big, please don't hesitate to reach out to Susan or to myself, and we can give you support if you know, in any way that we can.
Yeah, the archive offers support for that if you're putting one together, whether it's a one-off event like today's Big Portugal Live was, which was very successful, or whether it's something that you want to do on an ongoing basis. It's just more fun to learn in community. All right. Well, we've been here for almost an hour and a half. We'll be winding up soon. So I would say if you wanted to jump in and say something, now is the time. Put your hand up or come on screen, unmic. Okay, Nuno. Let's see if I can figure out how to spotlight you. Where are you? I'm going to find you, Nuno.
Hang on.
Spotlight.
My computer. I'm going to switch computers with Nuno.
And Mariana, I'm adding you as well, just because I'm being lazy. Add spotlight. There we go. Look at this party.
So we were just talking. I was telling Angela about Steve's curiosity and the way he's in this business of research and exploring. And I told the story that the fact that you were one meeting some meetings ago, you said, yes, I'm using some stones when I walk to test if it changes my pre-stress or my organization. Yes, and we saw those and we said, is it fashion or is Steve wearing some weights on his wrists for some reason? It was just interesting to notice.
Oh, Steve, can you unmute?
Yeah, I discussed it one day and then I got a pound weight on each wrist, and it really helps us old people to walk. And actually, I had a little foot injury a week ago that sort of slowed me down and made me take small steps. And I put the weights on and I walk much better. There's no question that it works. And not only that, I had one of my grandchildren who is a regular runner, walker. I think yeah, every day she walks. She lives up in New Jersey, but she walks. She's in her early 30s. She walks, and she's got it down to the second how long it takes her to do a mile. And it's like clockwork with her. And so she put on a pair of weights and cut her time down by several seconds, not just, so clearly different. So if you have older people or anybody who has trouble making a step in walking, get these 1 pound weights and these are adjustable. You can even take some off and use them. And the reason I have them on is because I just walked to my mailbox. And so I put them on when I walk to the mailbox. But it's sharp for you to pick them up.
If you go to the YouTube page of the Action Lab and look for, do people actually jump farther while holding weights? And you'll see that there's research done, and he talks a little bit about the history, and he's got people that are jumping from a standing position, not running and jumping, just from a standing position. How far can you jump with 2 feet? And with and without the weights. And people with the weights jumped much further. It's very easy to see. So obviously it doesn't happen with weights of an infinite weight, right? But with enough weight, with the right balance, you can use that and jump further. So there's the physics is with us on this issue.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mariana.
I just wanted to add to everything that has been said today. Of course, thank you to Dr. Levin because of everything he has done, but also to you, Susan,
This way.
to Chris, to Graham, those of you in the board, honestly, keeping this alive and organized and getting more serious about propagating this through the world. I think without the whole team here, this wouldn't be happening, right? So yes, Dr. Levin is always and will be always be the father, but the team behind him and around him and with him is also so part of what we're seeing and we are celebrating today. So thank you, all of you, for doing what you do. Okay.
And you're part of that team too, Mariana. Everyone doing the physio teaching, not just the board members. Doug was presenting at the Big Portugal Live earlier today. He's got classes he's teaching now. Leonid's been recovering from an elbow injury, but I'm sure he'd be with us today if he could. And anyway, it takes all of us and the support of all of you. So thank you.
I'd like to just add that even a heavy wristwatch helps. So you put on, I have a heavy wristband and a heavy wristwatch. Just that helps. But if you really want, just put 1 pound weights on it. It really works. Try it. It's little.
All right.
It's the scientist in me. I don't know. I just play these little games.
It's great. We are all staying curious, right? Is part of it. A big part of it. All right. Well, we've got a couple more minutes. Any last thoughts? Anyone want to say hello that hasn't?
Well, I want to thank you all for coming. This has been a delight. It's like being at a roast, but everybody was nice to me instead of otherwise. But thank you very much. I hate to be at my own obituary.
No, we deliberately did not ask people for recorded testimonials or anything like that. We deliberately wanted it to be relaxed, informal, just a party. Whoever wanted to come up, come up. And I know some of us have been going at it for hours. Graham started it was my 4 in the morning. It was your 9 in the morning, Graham.
That's right, yes.
And it was 9 in Sesimbra, yes? Our
Yes,
Sesimbra party.
Jason and Mariana were here at 4 a.m.
I was off for a few minutes, but I had to be on and off.
Yes. Can we close with a toast?
Yeah, I love that idea. We didn't do an opening toast, so
I don't know. Susan, would you like to do the toast?
Well, Chris, it was your idea.
Oh, okay.
Everybody.
To do what?
Because they are free.
Oh, yeah. Can we change the view so we see everybody is what you're saying?
Yes. I will. Let's take the spotlights away and then everybody will see everybody.
Well, first of all, I want to give gratitude to each and every one of you here, as well as my mentors, but to toast this seed that is starting to really grow and blossom of biotensegrity, our first 50 years, and to Steve, of course, to Susan and Graham and everybody here who's been dedicated to learning, dedicating to sharing. And I am just so looking forward to find out what will emerge in the next 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 6 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. I may not be around then, but to sharing and to discovering and to the magic.
Thank you,
Here it
everyone.
is.
Cheers.
Good to be here.
Wow.
Great. We
And
can actually really clink our glasses.
Congratulations.
And Steve, thank you for 50 years of your hard work, even with people telling you you were absolutely nuts, which I think we probably all had a taste of people saying that we're absolutely nuts. So thank you for being willing to do that.
I just want to show you the mug I'm holding has the Pythagorean theorem on it and the solution to it.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'm gonna spotlight you.
That's the solution to the Pythagorean theorem.
Wow, very nice.
Isn't that clever?
Yeah.
Yep.
I also like the one, have you seen the one with water? Where they spin the thing and the water pours from the big square into the little squares?
No, I've seen
And
that
they
one.
spin it and then it pours from the little squares into the big squares. QED. All right.
Right.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Problem solved.
Cheers, cheers. Happy 50th.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy 50th. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. It's been a delight.
Thank you. Grazie, ciao.
Oh, thank you from Italy. Michelle's
Ciao,
got
ciao. Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you, Steve. From Michelle.
Maria's in Kutu, you're in Dublin.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Steve, and everyone, Susan,
Thank
Graham.
you. Thanks for sticking with us for all these
Please.
years, Steve.
Amazing. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Steve, Susan, Chris, Graham, and so many others.